Have you ever been lying in bed trying to sleep when a thought enters your mind, a simple memory of something you said earlier that day? And then, almost instantly, that memory is followed by a voice that says, "You shouldn't have said that. They must think you're such a fool." This voice, it speaks with such certainty, such authority, that you accept its story as absolute truth. Your heart begins to race. A wave of anxiety washes over you. But tell me, did anyone actually say you were a fool? Or did that entire reality, that entire feeling of dread, get created entirely by a single thought? This is the power of the mind, and very often it is a magnificent liar. I recall a young woman who came to the monastery utterly convinced she was unlikable. She said, "No one ever seeks me out. I am invisible." So I asked her about her friend, Sarah, who hadn't called in 2 weeks. Immediately the story began. "She's obviously avoiding me. I probably bored her last time we met." The thought created a feeling of hurt, and that feeling of hurt then created more thoughts of unworthiness. It was a perfect closed loop of suffering. A few days later, she learned that Sarah's mother had fallen ill, and Sarah had been caring for her night and day. The thought, the story that she was unlikable, was a complete fabrication. It felt true, but it was never real. This is how our thoughts lie to us. They present a story, often rooted in fear or past pain, as an undeniable fact about our present reality. Your mind is not a window showing you objective truth. It is more like a storyteller, and it often pulls its material from old, dusty books of past experiences and future worries. Think of a time you felt a sudden pang of anxiety, for no reason. Your mind, this frantic storyteller, immediately scans the environment for a cause. It latches onto an email from your boss. "This must be it. He's unhappy with me," and weaves an entire narrative of impending dismissal. The feeling came first, a simple energy in the body. And the mind, uncomfortable with the unknown, hastily wrote a script to explain it. We confuse this story for reality, and we suffer accordingly. So how do we spot the lie? We become not the listener to the story, but the watcher of the storyteller. It begins with a simple question, a moment of pause. When a thought arises that brings pain, "I'm not good enough, this will never work, they don't like me," you gently interrupt the narrative and ask, "Is this absolutely true? Can I know for certain that this thought is 100% real?" You don't need to argue with the thought or replace it with a positive one. You simply introduce a sliver of doubt into its absolute authority. You see the thought as a thought, not as a command. You see the cloud passing in the sky, but you are no longer the cloud. You are the sky itself. This space, this moment of questioning, is where your freedom is born. It is the difference between being a prisoner in the cinema, terrified of the movie on the screen, and remembering that you are the one sitting in the seat and you can choose to look away. The thought may still appear. The storyteller may still speak, but its power over you is diminished. You realize you do not have to believe everything you think. Your thoughts are often suggestions, not sentences. When you learn this, you begin to reprogram your entire experience of life. You start to respond to what is actually happening, not to the frightening fiction your mind has composed. You find a profound peace not because your life is perfect, but because you are no longer at war with the stories in your own head. The world becomes quieter, clearer, and far more kind. Your mind is a powerful tool, but it is a terrible master. Watch the stories it tells. Question them. And in that space, you will find a truth far more reliable than any thought.